All right, so now we're looking at a Scrabble board or Scrabble tiles. It reminds us that there's 100 total tiles in a Scrabble board or a Scrabble game. That'll be our denominator. The question is, find the probability of selecting an L or an N. So the probability of L or N. These are independent. So I just look for all the L's and all the N's. Well, luckily these are in alphabetical order. So here's L, here's N. So I could do the probability of L plus the probability of N. It might be just as easy just to add up the 4 L's plus the 6 N's all over my total. So that's 10 over 100, which just reduces to it. All right, another Scrabble question. That was 51. This was 52. The question here, however, is what is the probability choosing a tile worth 3 points? Well, I think I could just add these up again. 3 points. So I guess we got to remember how to read this. It does tell us here the point value is there. It's that subscript. So I'm looking for these that have a subscript of 3. Okay, B does. C does. Now, it may be hard for you to see on the video, but I will go through and carefully look everywhere I see a 3 subscript. I'm going to circle that. I think that's it. All right. So the probability of getting a value of 3, I just need to add these up. 3-point tile. So I'm just going to add these up, 2 plus 2. And these are the numbers I'm adding on the right, because that's the frequency of the tile. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. I'm going to quickly look again to see if I forgot something. I don't think I did. So that's over 100. That's 8 over 100. If I were to type that in and reduce it, I get 2 over 25. Okay. All right, those are pretty brief. Those are pretty easy. Number 53, this is the only one I've seen in recent time that I can remember requires some algebra. All right, 53 requires algebra. It's not much. It's very simple, but here we go. The probability of a person driving while intoxicated or having an accident is 0.35. I'm just going to write down what I get told. Probability of an accident or intoxicated is 0.35. If the probability of driving while intoxicated is 0.3, probability of intoxicated is 0.3. And the probability of a driving accident is 0.09. Find the probability of a person having a driving accident while intoxicated. probability of accident and intoxicated. That's what we're looking for. So the reason I know this has to do with some algebra is I use the formula, the not mutually exclusive formula, not MEE. So the probability of A or B is the probability of A plus the probability of B minus probability of A and B. Okay, so that's the formula we have to use. Probability of accident or intoxicated is 0. Well, probability of accident or intoxicated is the probability of an accident plus the probability of intoxicated minus both accident and intoxicated. This is intoxicated. That's what I meant to write there. So I have all the values except for accident and intoxicated. So let me call that X. Put that X here. So the probability of an accident or intoxicated is 0.35. The probability of an accident is 0.09. The probability of intoxicated is 0.3. And so this is our variable X right here. Okay. So I'm going to move those over. So I'm going to do minus 0.09 minus 0.3 from the left side and the right side. So I have 0.35 minus 0.09 minus 0.3, 0.04 equals minus X. And if I divide both sides by minus 1, I have X equals 0.04. So the probability of accident and intoxicated equals 0.04. Okay, so a little bit of algebra, not too bad. Number 54. The chance of a hurricane hitting an area Victor is 0.10. What's the probability Victor will have a hurricane 2 years in a row? All right, so the probability of hurricane 2 years in a row. Well, year 1, year 2. Okay, the probability of year 1, well, each year is 1/10. How do they write it? They write it as 0.10 and 0.10. So I just need to multiply those together. So 0.10 times 0.10 is 0.01. Now 54 is very similar to another one we're going to look at, which is 59. I guess I'll do that one when it cuts. I'll do these in order, but 54 is kind of similar to 59. Okay. 55. We have a spinner. The spinner shown is equally likely probable on which one it will land on. Find the probability that the spinner will land on a color other than green for each spin. How many times are we spinning it? Okay, we're spinning it twice. What's the probability that it will land on a color other than green each time? Okay. Okay, spin 1, spin 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find the probability of each of these. By the way, these are independent events because the first spin does not affect the second spin. What we're saying, independent events. Okay. Each event does not affect the other event. So, what is the probability of not getting a green on spin 1? Well, let me circle my successes. Red. Let me do a highlighter. Okay, a success is not green. So red, red, yellow, red. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 over my total, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that's for spin 1. For spin 2, the probability of not getting a green is the same. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 successes, and then a total of 6 possibilities. I could have done 1 minus the probability of green for each, but that would have been extra work. So what we have here is 16 over 36. I can simplify these by dividing by 4, and I'll get 4 minus. This is number 55. Number 56 is talking about drawing the card from a deck of 52. Then I replace it. Notice this is with replacement. So 56 with replacement. Okay. With replacement versus not replacement is important. So you draw a card from a deck of 52, then you replace the card, you shuffle it, and you draw again. What's the probability? Probability of drawing a red card the first time and a black card the second time. Okay, so I'll say draw 1, or first draw, second draw. Because I'm drawing 1 card each time. First draw, what's the probability of choosing a red card? Well, half the deck is red. Now, I put my card back in there. Let's say it was a 4 of hearts. I put it back in the deck. I shuffle up. And now what's the probability of choosing the black card? Well, I still have 52 cards in the deck. And there are 26 black cards. So I will get 26 times 26 is 776. And then 52 times itself is 2704. Now, I want to see if this reduces, so I'm going to do 676 divided by 2704. I get 0.25. I already know what that is, but let's say I didn't. I get 1/4. Okay, that's 56, 57. What's the probability of obtaining 7 tails in a row and flipping a coin? All right, so are these independent or dependent? So each time I flip a coin, each time we flip a coin is independent of the other times. Okay, so these are independent events. So I want to know the probability of obtaining 7 tails in a row when flipping a coin. So I'll write it as 17s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, I'll show you 2 things I could do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are my, I'm looking for the probability of rolling a 7, I'm sorry, a T, flipping a coin and getting a T each time. The probability of getting a T or a tails is 1/2. So I'm actually going to do 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2, 7 times. Now, I am likely going to make a mistake if I try to type it in the calculator like that. So recognize that this is the same as 1/2 to the 7th. So what I'm going to do is parentheses 1/2. And if you recognize 1/2 is just 0.5, that works. 1/2 caret 7. I get this decimal. They want a fraction. Okay, so I'm going to do second ERB, and I get 1/128. All right, how many do we got left? I think we'll go ahead and do number 59, since it's on the same video as the other hurricane or tornado question. And then I'll save the last 4 for the last video. 59. The probability a certain state will get hit by a major tornado is 1/7. Okay. 1/7 is important. Complete parts A through D. The probability that a state will get hit by a major tornado 2 years in a row. This is each time it happens, it's an independent event. Okay, so the probability of big tornado 2 years is the same as that previous question. I could say year 1 and year 2. And notice each year the probability is 1/7. So I'm just multiplying 1/7 times 1/7, which is 149. But in this question, they want us to round 5 decimal places. So what I might do is I could do 1 divided by 7 times 1 divided by 7. And I get a decimal. That answer is correct, but they're going to want 0.0204. I'm going to show you what I got on my calculator. We want to round 5 decimal places. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where I would cut it off, but I look at the next number. So I got to round it up, 0.02041. Okay. Now, in my calculator, I did 1/7 times 1/7. I could have done 1/7 squared to get that. And I tell you that because in number part B, it says, what's the probability of 3 consecutive years? The last one was 2 years in a row. So 3 consecutive years, I just toss in another 1/7. So what I'm going to have is 1/7 times 1/7 times 1/7, which I'm going to type in the calculator as 1/7 to the third. 1 divided by 7. I'm going to raise that to the third, and I get this decimal. So 0.0029154552. We're going to round 5 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I look after that, which is this 5, which means I got to round up. 0.00292. All right. All right, part C. What's the probability? This is where it gets a little weird. That a state will not be hit by a tornado in 10 years. Probability of no tornado for 10 years. Okay. Well, before I do that, let's remember, if the probability of a tornado is 1/7, then the probability of no tornado is 1 minus 1/7 or just 6/7. Okay, so the probability of no tornado for 10 years is going to be 6/7 to the 10. Now I could write out year 1, year 2, year 3, and put a 6/7. But again, I don't really want to type 6/7 10 times because I will make a mistake. So the safest thing to do is parentheses 6/7, caret, oops, wrong button, caret 10, decimal. 0.214058316. It wants us to round 5 decimals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I look at this number, that means we're going to round it up. 0.21406. Oh, what did I read? Did I read that? Oh, look, I read it wrong. 3 decimal places. So let me scratch that. I'm stopping after this. I look at this number. Let me just rewrite that. 0.214058316. The question says 3 decimal places. So I cut it off after that. I look at this 0. That 0 is less than 5. So I have 0.214. Okay. Part D is the last one we'll do in this video. It says find the probability that a state will be hit by a major tornado in the next 10 years. Okay. So probability of a tornado at least once in 10 years. All you got to do on this one is do 1 minus the number you got in part C. Okay, the number I got in part C was no tornado for 10 years. If I have at least 1 tornado in 10 years, then it's 1 minus that number. So 1 minus 0.214 is 0.786. Okay. So we're going to stop the video there, and then we will do the last 4 and